And we're live from Little Buddy, named by Soda. It's a 10 show of the very, very rarely tour, named by 3 Muffin Loaf 91. Hey, the bodybuilder Thankonomics in the house. Sort of. Tubi's head is there. Body is somewhere else. I don't know where. Mucha Mas, Jazzy, Ramza 666, Coberiz and GD Bill, Wow Wow Soda, Doug the Potato, Sleepy Muty, Staffy, Tony Brisky Botsky, and Father Five. Welcome. Thanks, Father Five, for a 39-month sub. Thank you. And the Botsky with a 23-month sub. Thank you. Staffy with a 20-month sub. Thank you, Staffy. Oh, Staffy, I I'm probably used every one of those Guggenheim ones you gave me for album covers. You gotta love what you found. Let's see. I made a back save from the Shea Motel. Yeah. Oh, as I was waiting for Tubi, I saw the conversation about venues. I'm only doing 3 venues. I think I might have forgotten and done 4 a few times. But yeah, I'm only doing 3 venues. Let's see. Basically, I need to make sure, I don't like to have, I want to make sure that I have at least 5 or 6 people who have submitted venues. I want at least 3 more, basically, 3 more people than venue slots. That's why I've dropped to 3. Let's see. Yeah, I've been on 3 for at least several weeks. Okay, let's see. Yeah. So the reason is, and I might reduce titles too. The reason is I don't want to hurt people's feelings, and so I want to have enough options that I'm not in a situation where, let's say, 5 people submitted, but only 2 of them I think are appropriate. So then it's very obvious that I've rejected 3 of them. I don't want to do that. I always want to have enough options that I can fill up the slots. If that makes sense. How was the trip? It was pretty good. I didn't get much B-roll. This first video is so structured that I didn't really need a lot of B-roll. So yeah, but future episodes will not be nearly as scripted. Future episodes will probably have a lot more, feel more organic, just out of necessity. But yeah, I haven't started editing it yet, so I don't. As far as I know, the only potential disaster is on the story. And even that, I'm sure I can figure some way to work around it. But maybe maybe I didn't realize something. I'm real paranoid about data. I think just from being on film sets. I mean, on a film set, when you have the budget, you have a DIT. I think it was a digital imaging technician. There's a job, and that person's role is to just manage the data, make sure it's backed up. So on shoots we have 2 hard drives, and you're backing everything up as you go onto 2 hard drives, verifying that you've got identical. So I'm like scrunching this little car with my broken laptop that's falling open. Battery is just plugged into an inverter, waiting, because it's gigabytes and gigabytes of footage. So it's not something that it goes in a minute. It might take 20 minutes to just copy it over from the SD drive, SD card. Muse says, how are the suggestions you got? Great. They're great. Yeah. Should I guess, I don't know, should I reveal or does it matter? I don't know. I ended up using 5 elements, and I could have used more, but if I could have made the story longer, there were a few that I could have easily incorporated, but I mean, I think the whole process took at most. Coming up with the story was. I don't know if anyone will like it, but coming up with a story was pretty easy. I'm doing a creative moment, and my creative moment's about limitations, how limitations can make things easier, and it's different people, different things can work for different people, but certainly for me, as soon as I start getting suggestions, right, my mind starts trying to connect the dots between these things. Ideas start being formed. How, in what context if we have this character, why would this object? Immediately your mind starts trying to figure it out. It becomes almost a mystery, So I think I came up with the story in under 2 hours. Definitely under 2 hours. And then I had to spend at least an hour trying to shorten it because it was too long. It's much easier for me to generate material than to reduce material. But I took a big risk. We'll see when it's at. And then filming, I think I filmed it in about an hour and a half, but I screwed up. I broke the 180-degree rule with my main takes, and then all my subsequent takes are on. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do exactly. I think I'm gonna scratch my main takes because I like the other one, but I don't know if I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping I've got the right footage, basically. But yeah. No, I took a gamble because I did it more like a short film than. It is. It is. It's a short film. It's not done in a story format where it's like, I'm going to tell you a story. It's, which meant I'm sort of acting, trying to act. I've never done dramatic acting before. I've done a few improv comedy classes. That's it. And I did one improv comedy performance. I've never done theater in my life. And it's not a happy, cheerful, funny kind of story. Which means if my acting is poor, it's gonna really make it difficult to watch. But I realized I made a mistake. When I was thinking, okay, I can generally talk around 180 to 210 words per minute. So I was thinking, well, if I limit the story to 500 minutes, that's that's gonna be 2.5 minutes. But I forgot that YouTube talking and filmmaking talking are different things, right? Just think about this. Like, okay, just think about the way YouTubers talk, right? It's really fast, no dead air. Let me read something for. Let's see. It'd be like, okay, here's my attempt to be a YouTuber. If Hamlet were a YouTuber, okay, it'd be like, to be or not to be, that's the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them to die, to sleep no more, and by a sleep to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks of flesh is heir to. You know, it's just like that. But in a dramatic situation, you're not going to do that. You know, it's to be or not to be. That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing them to die, to sleep no more. Right? So I miscalculated. So the story is probably going to be more like 4 or 5 minutes. And again, it's more like a short film. I had a lot of ideas to really make it feel even more like a short film. I just ran out of time. I ran out of sunlight, more specifically. But I was filming. I made this decision. I was going to do a long hike yesterday. I was going to film it. It's sort of the big view on this hike. And it was around 1 o'clock, and I thought, you know, I was at this other location that was beautiful, and I thought I should just do it here. You know, I was worried if I try to do this a 6-mile hike with the goal to also film, I know myself, I'm gonna get stuck out there because I'm gonna be determined to film until dark and then try to walk back 3 miles in the dark. So I stayed. But I wonder if there was anyone just listening in, because I was I was near a place that gets visited by a fair number of people. I walked, about into the woods sort of, but I'm saying this thing over and over again. But let's see. But yeah, I couldn't believe I broke the 180-degree rule after talking about it with y'all. And here's why it's very important sometimes, okay? So in this little film, I'm talking to somebody off screen. And I may or may not have, because there's an easy way, I may have them actually talk, but I'm essentially talking off screen. So I keep turning to talk to them, right? So you want the camera always to be on that side so that I'm always turning the same direction. If you screw that up and film from the wrong side, then sometimes you're looking this way and other times you're looking this way, right? Because y'all know Tubi's over there, but what if I started going, hey, Tubi, right? Tubi, what are you doing? And then someone like, hey, Tubi, what are you doing? You're like, wait, there's 2 Tubis? So, yeah, I screwed up. And the other thing is I was using the same lens the whole time. And it's amazing how different it looks just 20 minutes apart. Because I just wanted to get as many takes as I could, and it was getting darker and darker. I keep opening up the f-stop and raising the ISO, and it's, I don't know, it's going to be very hard to make it look cohesive. And it's sort of emotional. I'm taking a gamble. It's such a different vibe than the rest of the video. But I wanted to do that because really for this YouTube concept to work, I need to feel like I can do anything I want to. Otherwise, it's going to feel like a burden. But if it's anything I want, then it's like, oh, every day I can wake up and do something different and feel excited. Oh, thanks. Wait, 7 subs? Thank you, Muty. Thank you so much. Thank you. Muses, please tell me it wasn't black and white footage with same clothing. I'm not sure what you mean, but I might have to make it black and white. Just because the color looks so different. But I mean, I may feel differently when I look at all the footage, but right now I feel pretty good overall about the experience. It was it was so it was so beautiful up there, and I think I mean I felt it was weird. I felt as I was driving on the second day, I was driving to this other location. And this is, I was up in the area where Georgia O'Keeffe has a ranch called Ghost Ranch. And I had originally had, there were some hikes there that looked amazing. I wanted to film at, and there's this other place that I want to film, and they're all private essentially. You have to get permission to film, and it's just a huge headache. But just as I was driving to this location, I drove past Ghost Ranch, and I just drove, you know, and it's everywhere. And it was emotional seeing. I don't know what it was. It's just, I don't know. There's something about nature sometimes, I think, especially huge formations, mountains, or, you know, rock structures, or the unique land masses that are in the Southwest, this sort of stone, sand things, you know, that I don't know, it makes me feel, you know, awe at the universe, right? That these things exist. And it makes me feel small, but in a very good way, right? Of just appreciating this world. So that was pretty awesome. But yeah, very beautiful area. He says, really excited about it. This might be the most well thought out YouTube pilot ever. I don't know of that. I'm sure there was ones with whole teams of people, but thank you. Your proof for our minds are as large, nay, larger than the universe when it comes to being creative. Oh, thanks for saying that. Buchama says, overheard New Mexico, what's with that dude talking to the oatmeal box in the woods over there? I think the strangest thing was me with the children's inflatable swimming pool. I don't know if anyone saw me filming that part. I know people saw me setting up. I don't know. I mean, some of the things I was doing, if someone out of context, if someone saw me doing it, it's weirder because I'm by myself. If there were a bunch of people, it wouldn't be weird at all. It'd be like, oh, they're shooting a film, right? Because you have a camera person, a sound person, you have, you know, hair and makeup, or a director, right? So whatever is happening, as weird as it is, oh, they're shooting a film. But when it's just one dude, even if that dude has a camera, it's weird. You know, it's weird. Let's see. Did I miss a question? Oh, I know what. I can't see anything either. Oh, Got Double Cup says, what is your favorite instrument pack plugin? I'm not a super software gearhead, any kind of gear kind of, you know. That being said, I will answer your question I do like the Alchemy. And the reason I like Alchemy, I think it's only for Logic. The reason I like Alchemy is a lot of the sounds have a very organic feel to them. They feel like they're breaking up, they're fragile. They're, you know, organic. So yeah, I would say I like that the most, but I'm not a connoisseur of audio software or gear. Let's see. Am I caught up? If I miss somebody's question, I shout it out or comment. Feel free to write it again so I see it. Oh, we're going to beat the hour. But got double cup. My philosophy is we can make stuff, amazing stuff with anything. And the risk of trying to find that perfect thing is we spend our life trying to find the perfect tools and never really use them, because the top producers in the world, you could give them any sample pack, any sound library. You could give them an old Casio keyboard from the 80s and they'll be able to do something awesome with it. It can be fun to get new stuff for sure, but I really think that my recommendation in general to people is the best thing is to build our skills and not obsess about the tools. My favorite, I am a gearhead about audio adapters. They're very useful. I like audio adapters. RCA to a quarter inch and things like that. It's useful to have those. Doug says, "How did you manage to get lost?" I don't know. I have the worst sense of direction with the help of Google Maps. I'm still horrible. So I thought I dropped a pin where I wanted to go, because I went to Google and I put a pin down, and because I wanted to scope out a location first. So I'm just blissfully driving, doing whatever Google says. And then I looked at the map, and Google had me like going, I have no idea why, just going this other direction. So I wasted an hour. It ended up being fine, but yeah, I think I have some sort of, I don't know if this is a thing, like direction dyslexia or something, where Google will say to do something, and Google will say turn left, but I'll hear turn right. This happens to me all the time. And then I'll look at it and it says turn left on the screen, but I heard turn right. And I don't know if it's I just have such little faith in myself being able to find things that I just assume everything's the opposite. It's a game. It's like in Princess Bride when they play the which cup has the poison. My brain is doing this thing where, well, you're always wrong, so you should do the opposite of what you think, but maybe this time you're not wrong, so maybe you should do. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Oh, for sure, got double cup. I think the main thing is just throw yourself into it and make stuff. Make stuff. We learn so much by doing lots of things, and yeah. And I think you can really push your skills when you have just a few options. I think there's people who have all the money in the world, and they'll have every single synth package, every single one, hundreds of samples. And they're lucky to make one song every 6 months, because it takes them 5 months just to go through all their sounds. They got so many options. You get this paralysis if you have too many options. So I don't know if you've seen this show before, but chat picks the sounds. I don't have to worry about that. So I can just start making music right away, because I don't have to waste my time going through one after sound after another trying to make a decision. I just get right into it. So I definitely, recommend whatever you have, you can make music now, But yeah, have fun with it. Let's see. Okay, why did Logic not load? Father Pie says the whole show is an elaborate way of crowdsourcing sounds. Yeah. Oh, maybe because I haven't done anything yet. Is that why? I thought I was supposed to make Yeah, maybe I won't beat the hour. Oh, is there a gifted sub? To be crashed. Y'all have energized me seeing y'all, but I might really, I'm exhausted. Thanks so much, Soda, for gifting that sub to Got Double Cup. Thanks so much. Oh, it's exhausting being on my own trying to do this filmmaking stuff. I was doing it yesterday. I was doing one section of the video, and I was using, just because there's so much information I'm trying to convey, and y'all know how long-winded I am. I've been using a teleprompter sometimes because that's the only way to make things short enough. Otherwise the video would be 10 hours long. I need it to be no more than, well, now it's probably about 20 minutes. So anyway, I'm holding a monopod, which is not, and I've got pro gear from my video production days. I don't have lightweight stuff. I have stuff that's heavy duty. So I got this heavy duty monopod, a camera on it. Unfortunately, the camera itself is not that heavy, but there's a decent sized lens on it. There's audio on the camera, a wireless thing. Then there's the whole teleprompter, okay? Which, if you're not, this is a teleprompter right here. This is a teleprompter. It doesn't weigh that much, but it's bulky. And when you added all this other stuff, so my phone is right here, and the reason for a teleprompter is you want the person's eyes to be looking straight at the camera. You can't put paper in front of the camera, right? And so you have this mirror. You put your text. It has to be reversed so that you can look right at the lens and see what you're saying. So I've got this. It actually weighs a bit, and I'm monopod, okay? And I'm trying to brace it, but the lens, I didn't have a very wide lens, unfortunately, which means some of the stuff's going to feel claustrophobic. But, I'm trying to sometimes be out here supporting this thing. I'm on this highway, which is not a very busy highway. I'm sort of in the middle of nowhere. But I have this long take. I think it's a minute long that I want to do in one take, okay? and I start walking, and I want to walk as I'm doing this, right? So I'm balancing this heavy teleprompter and just whole camera rig with my arm, and I'm walking. I can't tell you, I probably did 15 takes, and it's a long walk, it's heavy, it's very hot outside. Almost every single take, just as I'm about to finish, car goes by, which is going to mess up the audio, because it's and by the end, every part of my body was sore from doing it over and over again. But this is why I need to get an iPhone at some point, because an iPhone, it'd be I can have the iPhone be the teleprompter, and I can have a much simpler rig. For the IRL stuff, using a camera is just overkill, but is my only option. Let's see. Doug says, you long-winded. Muti says, Drake's first 2 Grammy-winning albums are done with stock expand. I think that's like a Logic stock thing and $10 in the store. Yeah, I mean, the first 2.5 years of the show, we just used sounds in Logic that came free with Logic. And it was only because I had the idea of this could be a way to help fund the show that we started adding sounds. And I see Bosku's watching a documentary about the Velvet Underground. Nice. Music could chat, add suggestions for things to say in your teleprompter that scroll by unexpectedly. Yeah. That could be a funny segment, Muti, where y'all prepare. There'd have to be someone would need to coordinate it, and y'all would assemble. Wow, I still haven't. Yeah, we're not going to beat the hour. Someone would assemble a whole thing of text that I would not see in advance. I just load it into the teleprompter and I'd start filming, and the challenge is how many of these things will make me laugh. That could be pretty funny. Let's see. Okay, these things are loading up. But it was so beautiful up there, man. There's this incredible lake, and then just all sorts of different land masses. It's so much variety. Media says YouTube has a lot of those do not laugh challenges. Hey, Chucky. The long and winding road. Okay. I had to drive some long and winding roads. It's, I think many of you know I don't like driving. I don't have a lot of experience driving. I've never owned a personal car in my life. And, and then I have, these this deep rooted concern about potentially hurting people. I don't want to hurt people. And there's no better way to hurt people than a vehicle. So it's just stressful for me. I don't like driving, but especially at night, single lane roads that are very curvy, Oh, it was not fun driving back last night. But I did. I mean, it was, having a vehicle. I wouldn't have been able to do this trip, obviously, if I didn't have access to a vehicle. And I wouldn't have been able to see these amazing places. And let's see, first request ever. Doug, is there better ways to hurt people in a vehicle? Yeah. I think the vehicle, if you're going to unintentionally hurt somebody, there's nothing better than a vehicle, right? I mean, can anyone think of anything unintentional? I mean, cars kill more people unintentionally than anything else, right? I mean, obviously there are things people use to intentionally kill people, but in terms of the chance of accidentally hurting somebody, it's a vehicle, I think. Because you never injure someone with a trombone slide? Not that I know of. I've dropped. Oh, you're going to quote me out of context? What I was just saying? Let's see. First request ever. Got Double Cup's going to do a drum fill, drum loop, and a sound. Oh, this is new. I got my first ever whisper. Want to become famous by followers and viewers and big follows. I've never gotten one before. I guess they've diversified. They realized that Twitch doesn't. Surprised it took them that long. I think this trip may have finally convinced me that I really can't go with that smaller van I was thinking about. I think I'm gonna have to go with a real van, because with filmmaking, I need enough space. I can just, I mean, I felt so jammed up in that vehicle. Um, yeah. I just felt like I was wasting time trying, just having to move stuff just to get at stuff. And yeah. So I think I'm going to have to suck it up and accept the stress of a bigger vehicle. Okay. Okay. Chuggies is a new Cowboy Bebop show on Netflix is a jazzy soundtrack. I've heard I remember a couple years ago, someone recommended I check out the soundtrack for the anime, and I liked it. Maybe I should I watch the anime at some point? I mean, the amount of time I have to watch things, I'm not gonna finish Bob's Burgers until sometime next year, maybe, or the year after. But maybe in 2 years I'll have time to watch something else. I guess I'm basically at about an hour a week that I have when I'm editing videos and I put on stuff in the background. Can't you don't whip through seasons at that rate. He says I rewatched Anime again. It's so good. How many cartoons feature one about Charlie Parker? They're bounty hunters or something, right? Are they sort of anti-hero types, flawed characters? Is that I'm just sort of trying to piece together random bits of information I've gathered about it since I've never actually seen it. I just heard some of the music. Moochmosh recommends it. I don't remember that, Doug. Was that a thing? That might have been a thing for a while. Let's see, drum kit. I'm gonna need a timestamp on that one, Doug. Muni says, nice, Sleep are horrible at bounty hunting. They spend more than they make with wrecking stuff. Let's see. Okay. But I've filmed everything that I wanted to except for 2 short sequences which didn't have to be done up there. But I still have, in addition to those 2, I have 3 or 4 other things I still have to film. Got a lot to do. Okay, let's do our beats. Oh, the Tubi timestamps, right? There was a bug. I forget why. I think I figured it out, but I don't remember what it was. Okay, our king size Queen Funk. Kick drum. Let's put whatever that sound is. There's hula hoop. Then we got double cup. Where do you get your log from, Uchimas? Do you have an internal log, or is there a bot out there that you can just get that just logs everything? I think we have something on. I think I said something set up at one point, logs viewer or something. I don't know if I never paid attention to it though, because Tubi logs. Although log viewer is probably more reliable than Tubi. Okay, sounds. First sound. Oh, it's your own bot? Yeah. Quantum Bass, requested by G. Bill. Sleep Muty plug string. Got double cup, got a random request from when you followed, and that's why you had a drum loop too. When you followed, you got those requests. In the future, you'll need to manually make requests in chat or on the on-screen extension. Muchamas with Heart Dark. And then Doug the Potato Yellow Juice Heist. Loving them frequencies. Y'all pick which sound starts the improv. Remember how I talked, how I got in a special adapter so I wouldn't have to use all those adapters? That was the only thing I forgot. I had everything else except for that. It ended up being okay. It ended up not being a problem really, but because the problem is that on my checklist, I just had step-up rings. I didn't have a list of all the specific step-up rings, and so I brought all the step-up rings, so I thought, just not the one I needed. Well, I brought a lot that I did use, but let's see. We're just going to use one camera today. We're just going to use camera one because I borrowed SD cards from the other cameras, and I'm afraid I don't want to, until I verify that everything has been properly backed up, I don't want to erase any SD cards. So we're just using camera one because I don't have the camera switcher to work with. It only works with all four of them. It doesn't work with two of them. He says, what's the adapter that annoys you most? The one, the connection that always fails? I mean, anything that has it's more, adapters generally work. It's the wires that break. If you're talking about audio adapters, right? So, definitely stereo 1/8 inch are you're gonna have more issues with 1/8 inch than you will a 1/4 inch or an XLR cable, right? Because the cables are so much thicker. But with step-up rings, I mean, it's just not, step-up rings are a hassle. I think one of the things it drove home trying to produce content so fast is I really just need one lens that I can use for everything. even if it means compromising on certain situations. Because trying to juggle multiple lenses with different step-up rings and switching out when you're in a rush. I don't think I lost anything, which is a miracle. It's just so much. There were a few sequences I was pointing the camera too much in the direction of the sun, and you see all the sunspots on the lens and stuff. It's just there's no way I can fix it, except do it differently next time. Okay, here we go. Finally. Wait, not yet. Oh, am I in focus? I didn't. Oh, I can't even change the camera, can I? Yeah, I'm definitely not in focus. Okay, this is a hassle. Okay, here we go. I just need something random. Oh, that'll work. This is the iPhone 13 Pro Max. I checked and I think the Pro is the exact camera, right? I think they're exactly the same. But yeah, the iPhone Pro is a great blogging kind of tool. It's a lot easier than trying to use a DSLR like I was using. So I think, and it's always in your pocket, you know? See, I want the focus. I don't actually want me to be in perfect focus, because I want the focus to be wide enough that the background is also in focus. But I'm using, so yeah, I could probably, well, it's fine for now, whatever. Finally some music. Loving them frequencies, Botsky. Okay, here we go. I mean, this whole country's been built on just fine. Look how different the two cameras look. They're the same lens, too. It's just, it's different angle. And I've learned that the same brand of camera, you can have all the settings the same between two of them, and they won't look the same. It's just, Okay, here we go. Time to oops. Time to. Am I locked? Here we go. Time to accelerate. Thanks. Oops. Thanks for those calps. Oh, we got a raid from Total Robin. Thanks so much for the raid. Let's do a reverse raid. Let's all go follow Total Robin. How's your stream? Thanks so much for the raid. What were you doing today? Let me make sure I'm following. Get it right. Whoops, didn't spell it right. There we go. I love that graphic on your page. That's awesome looking. Your last show says swords and synths. That sounds cool. What are the? I know what synths are. I know what swords are. I'm not sure how do they work together. Oh yeah, for those you just joining, I do improv. So what you just heard was improv, but it's a collaboration with Chat. So Chat chose all the keyboard sounds, and the drum beats were generated from people's names. Chat chose the speed of the music, the sort of starting chord / key. You do historical fencing. Oh, that's awesome. That sounds awesome. Let's see. Okay, and because this song is improvised, it means it came into existence just now. Is this camera in focus? Not quite either, is it? I use these lenses on my trip. That's why everything's messed up. Chat helps name the song, so I'm going to look at the titles people suggested. From Chucky, we got Glass Chambers. Soda with Misfortune. Hey, Thankonomics, with It's All Progress. And Father 5, Contrast with Me. Okay. Okay, y'all pick which sound starts the improv. And I will focus, try to improve this focus. I did one of my favorite activities today. I returned stuff to the store. It's the best feeling. Best feeling in the world. Well, not the best in the world, but it's a great feeling. Oh no, Pete, I don't play guitar on the show. That's a gift. That was a gift to me from Fall Rate, and but hopefully someday. Yeah, usually it's angled so you can't see it. So no one is disappointed. Let's see. Misa's saying this is a form of concern. Knows a lot way that you've been saying sound. Did I do it again? You're not the first person who's noticed. Misa says, will projects makes this hamster wheel steps easier for you? Hopefully. I mean, yes. Yeah, it should. It should actually. Yeah. Did I do it? Did I do it this show? I done it this show? Yeah. I mean, I am getting older, but that's not the reason. I think I don't do well with repetition. Yeah. There's aspects of this show that I've done, literally almost 6,000 times. And yeah. So my brain just turns off and I did it for this poll. Yeah. You just before you watch camera, notice when it happens because you're in two places with your mind. Doing shows, this thing event. But yeah, I'm terrible at multitasking. Yeah, terrible. That's why I get lost, right? I was, I'll tell you, I was driving, and that part of the time I was doing the story was while I was driving. I was just thinking through how am I gonna connect these different elements, and I was also just it's very useful when you're doing filmmaking or anything which is very high pressure where you got to do a lot of stuff in a short period of time. It's really useful to sort of walk through it in your mind so that when you actually do it, it's the second time you've done it. But anyways, so I was not paying attention to the fact that I was going east when I should have been going north, which is a significant, I think the solution, which is not part of Project X, but I think is the long-term solution, because there's no matter what I do in terms of new show types and if it's music, improv is always going to be at the core. It's always me, So things like and I love the y'all get a name song, so I feel like that's going to be a part of almost anything I do. But yeah, steps that I have to do over. I think eventually I'm just gonna. The solution is have Tubi do all the repetitive stuff. Have Tubi pop up on the screen and say now it's time to do this, so that I'm having the checklist like I still do, but I won't be having to verbalize any of the repetitive stuff. Since I'm obviously not invested in the repetitive steps, or I would be saying them accurately. Oh, and let me say hi to MNF1212 and David01, Jaden 00000, classic film type, and Mods is here, Electric Blues here. I already said hi to Pete. Drew Druniac 007's here, Control Delete. Wombra. Thanks again, Total Robin, for the raid. It was Melodica and Rhodes and okay. Sax. Let me shout out some other titles. Control 3 with Beach Sunset. Father 5, Glaring Mistakes. Chucky. Windy Roads. Tunley Brisky Botsky. Blurred Realities. Soda Baby Pixel. Staffy Power and Purpose. Cool Breeze and Ice Sharpen the Pencils. Cat Mods Floating on a Cloud of Diamonds. Jazzy hashtag Rigged. And was a nitroglycerin. Doug the Potato Captured Alice. Sleeping Mutie. Polaroid Rage. I see. Oh, remember I successfully had my oatmeal at the motel? Some of y'all were concerned, I think. My room did, in fact, include a microwave. Let's see. Did you take it home with you, the complimentary microwave? I had a microwave at the studio in California. This cute little red one, you know, vintage looking. But I sold it. I think it might have been small enough for the van. I was putting on sunscreen every 2 hours, and my face is a little burned. He says new people don't know about that. Oh yeah, believe it or not, this show, I'm going to be moving into a van beginning in the spring. Traveling around the U.S. Did the reverse raid never end? I think it did. I got a notification. Maybe it didn't. Maybe it didn't go into chat. It did. Okay, good. Let's end this pope. Contrast with me, Father 5. Thanks, Father 5. That song, Contrast with Me. First request ever, classic film type is going to get a drum full of sound. Murnef 1212 is going to drum full of drum loop. Toto Robbins going to drum loop. Now, if you got a request and you didn't actually request anything, it's because you followed, and when you follow, you automatically get some requests. Or you rated, and then the rater automatically gets requests. But everyone can make requests. There's no, you don't have to be a sub or anything. And you can make them in chat or on the on-screen extension is the easiest way. Also, Rom's 66610 sound request, Chucky's 50th drum kit. Okay. Is it this trip would have been so much easier if I actually had the van, because I had to drive 40 minutes to the motel because there were no motels where this location was. And then I had to wake up super early in the morning to drive 40 minutes back. Which effectively meant I had an hour and a half less sleep than I could have gotten. So I was very underslept. It'll be so much easier to be able to just sleep in the vehicle. So much easier. And cheaper. Go raise the soda, kids sleep on the bed or on the floor so we can simulate the van sleep. I slept on the bed, and it was the first time I've slept on a bed in almost 6 months. Yeah, I sleep on the floor in here, just on the carpet. Yeah, I wanted to train myself, and it turned out it's really easy. It wasn't difficult. I can sleep on the floor now. Yeah. Yeah, I could. The motel didn't had a hardwood floor. Did I? I don't remember what it had. I don't think I had a carpet, but I could have. And colder, yeah. This is the best humble brag. I could sleep on the floor. I'm surprised I didn't think to do this earlier in my life, because dealing with having a bed, it's gigantic thing you have to haul around. I mean, I've never had a nice bed. I've never had a nice bed, I'll say that. Never bought a new bed. I don't know if I've ever bought a bed. I just sort of end up with them, which means they're probably not very good. But floors, if you can sleep on the floor, you can really sleep anywhere. You don't have to go, oh, this bed's uncomfortable. It's like, well, every floor is the same pretty much. I don't know if I could. I mean, now that I can sleep on the carpet, now the next step is, can I just sleep on the wood? That's the next step. But in the van, I'm gonna have a pad, very thin pad, because I'm gonna need something to sit on. So I need it more for seating. I think it's easier to actually, I think, to sleep on a hard surface than it is to sit on a hard surface. Okay, the drum kit is. Blues is get a nice bed, then you'd say different. I'm just not very aware of stuff like that. I've stayed in some very when I had a when I worked as a consultant sort of, and I had worked for very wealthy clients. Sometimes they'd put me up in hotels, or I would stay in their mansions, type things, and they had, really nice. I don't know. I can't tell. Drums in the deep. And Tubi messed up the sounds. Check as you get a folding mattress. Well, it's, with the van, everything space is a premium. So if I can get away with not needing, that means I have more space to put other stuff in. Like the microwave. I'm definitely going to have a microwave. When I first started sleeping on the floor in here, I was sleeping on a folding mattress pad type thing. And then, I decided I didn't even need that. Okay, let's do these beats. This drum kit is pretty weird in how the notes are placed. Well, let's just go with it. This is, I always get a kick out of your perspective. Forget about it, I got a microwave. There's a logical consistency to those things, though. There's logical consistency there, and it's time. So much of the way I live my life is governed by time. Trying to save time. And money. But a lot of these van lifers, they have these beds, and it takes them 10 minutes to build. They have to move everything around. It's this huge thing. I know I'm not going to want to deal with that. Drums in the deep. I mean, it's easy, it's easy for me to sleep on the floor because I'm single, right? So, that simplifies a lot of things. Here we go. Let's do that. Very few partners are going to put up with that. Oops, why can't we see the beat? There it is. This is Toto. It's Toto Robbins' beat. Okay, and then we got a beat for Murnef. As if the love of your life won't put up with that. It was never the love of your life to begin with. Love is blind and sleeps on the floor. I'm not dating, I'm not looking, but if I were to, I could create the most sort of off-putting dating profile. I sleep on the floor. Well, that alone, that right there is gonna... I talk to a robot. Not really, but on the show I do. Okay, we got our beats. Let's check out our sounds. Chucky's scissor, we upgrade to a mattress. Oh, no worries, Drew. Take care. Does his off dating profile sounds like a perfect YouTube thing? I was thinking about doing something with dating profiles for one of these characters, and potentially Tubi. I wasn't thinking about doing it for myself, but I was thinking about doing it for characters. So Mach says, where's the weirdest place you slept while on the road or on vacation? That's a great question. when I was in a band back in the day, we'd drive back from shows and I would sleep on the floor in between the seats. I mean, that's not that weird, but it was more comfortable than trying to sleep on the benches because I'm tall enough that I couldn't really. I don't know if I can think of that. I was trying to think if there's anything crazier than that. I'm sure there is. Back in my youth. 6 months ago. Kids music energizes. And then Sleepy Media requested Koto string. Oh, thanks, Drew. Thanks for the offer. Yeah, I have no idea my travel plans exactly. Most likely I'm gonna stick around the Southwest for the first 3 to 4 months, and then in the late summer I'm gonna start heading towards the East Coast. And then I'll probably, as it starts getting colder, I'll drive south and drive across the country, and I'll probably winter in California. And then classic film type random request when you follow cellos. Father 5 digital organ pad. Doug pays the 6 months. How long are these months though? Wait, what was the context of that? What was I talking about months about? Where I was. Did my months not add up? Visualize the history, Thankonomics. Oh, 6 months when I was younger, yeah. Haven't y'all noticed the way I talk about time? No, I guess I'm very inconsistent. I was going to say, last month I was 14 and next month I'm 85, you know. Then we have Ramza with Glass Pluck. Okay, y'all pick which sound starts the improv. Oh yeah, if you weren't here, we named the dinosaur. Muty came up with the name Dino DeVito. Dino DeVito. Your only flaw, Dino, is your mouth doesn't open. Creatively, I would have more possibilities if your mouth opened. I wonder if I sliced that. I wonder if I could. I bet I could. Took a razor blade and cut through the, and then we could, I could tie fishing line and Dino could speak. Thankonomics says dyno is getting nervous. Oh, here goes the tool says don't break the dyno. Yeah, maybe. I wonder how difficult it would be to get another one. Get a duplicate. A stunt double, if you will. Dyno's going to be a star. Dyno needs a stunt double. I love it in when it always makes me laugh. I mean, it's been done a million times. Where in films where they make it obvious that it's a stunt double, they don't even try. The lead actor has black hair, long black hair, and the stunt double is a foot shorter and is blonde. So DeVito's stunt double could be, I don't know, could be a bell pepper. Just, let's go extreme. Let's go not even at the same species. We're going bell pepper. They're both green. I mean, Beauty says use a sandwich for a stunt double. Okay, here we go. Let's end this Poe. Blue says you get a pack of 12 different dynos for 22. So this is why I need the bigger vehicle. Is props. Props. I had so many props, and I had a fake wall I had to bring. I had a fake wall. I had a little TV. Not a fake TV, a real TV. It wasn't that much stuff, but still, it adds up. Let's end this poll. So yeah, that's why I need the extra space in a van for props. I had fun with my fake fishing. Oh, I lost bobber. It was so sad. It was my favorite of the 4 bobbers I bought. It was the perfect size. It's gone. I was on a cliff and yeah, there was no getting it. I must have been at least, I don't know, 20 or 30 feet from the water on this cliff. And I just watched it bounce across the cliff and then over the edge. It's amazing I didn't fall in when I was filming. And we've just named, I was gonna mess with y'all. We just named our song Glass Pluck. Yeah, maybe I'm just messing with y'all. Maybe now you won't know. Next time I screw up, you won't know if I'm doing it intentionally or a screw up. Okay, start with Glass Pluck. Okay. Here we go. Time to accelerate. feathers in the wind. You think you know where you want to go, but just one gust sends you far from what you know, and you're drifting. Yeah, we're both strangers in this life. I don't know if I will ever be right again. When did we stop trying? Yeah, we're both strangers in this life. When did we stop trying? Thanks for those calps. Titles. Tunlibersky Botsky, The Utopia Diaries. And Ramses 666 Drifting Breeze. Thankonomics Cloudfishing. Oh, is the background music on? It's really... I had the background music turned off. This is one of my more experimental solos. Is that what's happening? Wait, I need one more title, right? Chucky, Future Self and Me. This is kid practicing. Believe me, I think practicing is doing stuff like, I don't know if you can hear anything. Practicing will be doing something like this. But just that for like 20 minutes. That's practicing. Let's see. But I was making it more interesting. I was doing dynamics and stuff. Pieces, do you really practice that way? Point of practice scales, I mostly improv. I definitely come from a very hardcore approach. So to me, there's what I call, there's practice, there's practice performance, and there's performance practice, and there's performance. And I mainly do practice. So what are the differences? And this is my own terminology. I don't know if anyone else describes it this way. This is my own terminology. Practice is almost solely focused on rudimentary physical, technical things. You're not focused on music. You're focused on the technical aspects that allow you to do what you want to do. So it's mostly, things like scales, arpeggios, rhythm exercises, maybe etudes. Practice performance is when I'm practicing a piece of music, but I'm doing it almost like exercise. So I'm not really playing it through. I'm just taking little parts of the song and working those to death, little sections at a time. Maybe just 3 notes, trying to figure out what the issue is. And I say practice performance because the practice is the primary element. Performance practice is you are primarily now trying to play through songs in their entirety. You don't want to stop, but you will stop if necessary, right? But now you're trying to get the big picture. And then there's performance. Performance, you can't stop. You never stop, right? That's, you work with what you have. No matter what, you work with what you have. Now, that's amazing for the experience of, performing, but that is not the best way, I think, for most people to learn. Because if you're working with what you have, you're never pushing yourself further. And I'm talking purely about technical skill. I'm not talking about artistic expression. I'm talking about purely artistic skill. Most people, me, especially me, I'm including this, we will lose our technical skills if we only perform. It's a harsh reality. Only extraordinarily talented people will grow technically just from performing. The vast majority of us really, in order to improve our technical skills, our physical skills, it's through, focused practice. But I think one thing to remember about everything I'm saying is I'm also coming from, even though I'm not a jazz musician, and this show is not a jazz show, I come from a classical and jazz background, which are the two musics that require the highest level of technical proficiency. And so that's just the world I came from. But what's awesome about music is there's so many different kinds of music, and that you don't need that level of technical proficiency to play most kinds of music. I don't need, for the stuff I do in this show, I don't need a high level of technical proficiency. Let's see. This is interesting, doesn't work for me at all. You mean the practicing scales kind of technique? Yeah, I'm not saying that's not as much what I'm talking, like, because for a lot of people they'll just get bored, right? But I don't think there's many, if especially talking about classical and jazz, I don't know that there's 1 in 10,000 people that could sort of reach virtuosic level without an extraordinary amount of time doing scales and arpeggios. And there is always going to be 1 in 10,000 who can do it. Now, other kinds of music, for sure. But my practicing discipline comes from jazz and classical music. And again, I'll make very clear it's not necessary for most kinds of music to approach it with that level of discipline. But that's just where I came from. Perform if doing another. Oh, I still haven't put the poll up. Juices, if that's true, why did you bother learning other music? I'm not sure you mean. Can you expand on that? I don't know what you mean. Pieces for me, math, for example, I got good at it when I used in context, but just plain raw math never worked for me. I need to know the context or bigger picture to click for me. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree with that. But to me, that's why I think it can be helpful to, um, again, it's I'm talking from a very specific context, right? Like if someone came to me and says, I want to play music for fun and just and do stuff, I'm going to give them very different advice than if someone were to come to me and say, I want to be a professional jazz musician or professional classical musician, right? There's a huge difference in terms of goals at that point. And as I've said many times on this show, technical skill does not make you a better make music that better music. Technical skill is only necessary for the kind of music that you want to play. So if somebody wants to play folk music on a guitar, they don't need much technical skill. If somebody wants to play bebop, which is a form of jazz, they need an extraordinary amount of technical skill in order to do it. You can't just sort of accidentally become a bebop musician. It's just, again, that's a 1 in 10,000. There's, they're savants, right? That could maybe, can just wake up but for almost nobody is going to be able to just, so it's just really what someone's goals are. I operate from the premise that ultimately expression is the most important thing, right? We work with what we have, and we no matter what we have in terms of gear or technical skill or theoretical knowledge, we can say something. And there are many examples of musicians who have very limited theoretical skills, very limited technical skills, who have had a tremendous impact on the whole world, have had a tremendous impact on musicians that do have extraordinary technical skills. And so, but, I come from a specific context, and I have, so that's, yeah. I don't know if I'm really being very explaining very well. But yeah, I think the main thing is that technical skill really, to me, is sort of specific to the genre you're in, how important it is. But I would be delusional if I tried to tell somebody that someone could be in the New York Philharmonic without developing an insane amount of technical skill. You just can't. That's not reality. But somebody can make incredible music with extremely limited skills, right? I mean, there's so much music that I'm influenced by. Punk rock requires a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of the technical skills that someone who is going to play in an orchestra needs. It's hard to quantify how little compared. I think a lot of people don't realize the number of hours that classical musicians and jazz musicians practice. It is staggering the amount of time that they put into what they do. Pieces where there are some folk melodies that are very technical. Well, yeah, of course, and there's exceptions to what I'm saying. I mean, there is folk music that is demanding, like bluegrass and stuff like that, or a lot of Irish music is technically demanding, but still, the scale of it's just different worlds. And again, I'm not saying it's better or worse, because that is not what I'm saying at all, but it's just quantifiable that the level of technical skill is different in different kinds of music. Classical music is about a kind of precision of tone and sound. It's a precision of tonal quality of the sound of the instrument. Classical musicians, generally, their rhythm is not nearly as sophisticated as the jazz musicians, but jazz musicians often don't have the same level of precision to their sound that classical musicians do, right? So different kinds of music tends to emphasize different aspects of technical skill. And you'll find all sorts of exceptions, of course, but within there's going to be some sorts of standards. Now let's get these titles up. Loses Vandals is my favorite no musical training example, however, he's by far the exception. He says, if you had a time machine, go back as a kid, what's a piece of advice you would give yourself about music? I wouldn't give myself any advice. I think yeah. It's hard for me to think that way because I think I never really look at the past and say, what if something were different? Almost almost never in my life have I done that. It just seems so abstract, and I sort of feel like I had to take the journey that I took, So it's hard for me to think that way. Now, you could ask me what's advice I could give to somebody else. That's a little easier to wrap my head around. And again, I think it just comes down to so much, what does someone want to do with music? Because, if somebody comes to me and, again, it says, I'm looking for a creative outlet. I think I'd like to play an instrument. What can you recommend, That's so different than someone saying, I would like to be a professional jazz musician, and I would like to be able to play with John Scofield or something, right? Like those two things are so different. They're not. It's not the quality of what those two people might make musically might, in terms of expression, there's no difference in terms of what they could both do expressively. But the technical and the theoretical needs of the person who wants to be a jazz musician are very different. Good night, Drew. It's good to see you. Have a good night. He says, let's rephrase. If you could go back in time, what kind of music advice do you give to the Beatles? Yeah, I would give no advice. No advice. I could give no advice to the Beatles. It's funny. I haven't read the book, so I might be misrepresenting this. But has anyone read the book by Malcolm Gladwell? It's something about, maybe it's Outlier or something about how people become good at stuff. Does anyone know the name? I think I've heard he says something about the Beatles. His thing is the 10,000 hours, right? You need 10,000 hours to get really good at something, which I think is silly, that concept. But his evidence for the Beatles was something about they played all these shows in Hamburg, Germany, I think. They played just 5-hour shows for a year or something. And the thing is that, to me, it shows, if that's what he in fact says, and he was in fact using that as evidence to explain why the Beatles were what they were, it shows his total lack of understanding of the different elements of music. Because composition and live performance are totally different things. Just because you can do one doesn't mean you're going to feel comfortable doing the other. And playing 5-hour shows doesn't magically turn you into someone who can write songs like the Beatles wrote. But that 10,000 hours thing is just going to depend so much on someone's situation and what we all have different levels of. Some things come easier to us than others. I am not a natural by any stretch in terms of physical, technical stuff. It's been a battle to get every little technical improvement has been a battle. Now, improvisation, I think, came very naturally to me. You know, different thing, and so we have different journeys. Every single individual have a different journey musically in terms of which things are more difficult, which things come more easily. And we can be frustrated by that, or we can realize that that's what makes us different from somebody else. If everything was identically easy for every person, there'd be a lot less variety in what people create. Thankonomics, 10 months sub, thank you, says Masterful Melodica. And thanks to Muti. Muti gave me that title I used as a lyric for the whole song, Strangers in the Light. But the thing I wouldn't call it advice, but that I would say to anybody, right, when I've said many times this show, is that, I think that the reason I do this, the reason I practice, in my life, is because of expression. The reason to do the hard work is for the expression, like just to do scales purely for scale's sake. I don't think I love doing scale. I love playing scales. I love doing extremely repetitive stuff. I find it very meditative. Would I do it if there was no purpose to it? No. I know that the payoff is what it'll allow me to do expressively. But I also know that I don't need those scales to be expressive. I can just work with what I have at my means. But the reason I want to practice scales, the reason I did practice scales back when I was practicing a lot, was because I heard things in my mind that I didn't have the means to play. And that's a great motivator. Lou says, Kate would be the ultimate supervillain. The hero would just need to ask about music philosophy. Do you expect me to talk? No, allow me. He says, I used to have whole harmonies in my mind, which is annoying because you can't sing them to yourself. Yeah. I remember at one point I thought it'd be so cool. Someday I'm going to get a jack in the back of my neck, just plug in, and just no need to deal with instruments in between. It's just straight expression. Although now we could go wirelessly. Let me shout out a few titles. Mr. Neff 1212, Lucid Daydreaming. Pete, Comfortable Dreams. Soda, Wash in the Refrigerator. Cool Breeze and Submarine Adventures. Amod's Hands of Clocks Stepping Upstairs. He says, in my opinion, obsession is fuel for curiosity. Is the best thing I learned. Helps me improve. Love how Paul McCartney says they traveled by bus for 2 or 3 hours because he heard some guy knew a chord that none of them could play. 3 hours for one chord. Yeah. I think paradoxically, I think it's better to be limited than to be unlimited when it comes to expression. Because I think one of the things that makes art, music, film powerful I think one of the core things about it is it's about the struggle of the human spirit in different ways. That struggle can be trying to just know how to deal with joy, like how to even process it. And I think when we feel emotions powerfully, it's difficult to, so I think inherent to art, there is some, often, not always, is sort of that sense of struggle. And so there's something powerful about that pushing up against boundaries, as opposed to effortlessly just having nothing in the way ever. That can get sort of dull. And I think artistically that can be dull. So as I've said, many times, I think the main reason to practice is not to get better, it's to change. It's to change the context, change the tools you have at your disposal so that your limitations are different. Because with expression, I think especially having more skill is its own kind of limitation. If Bob Dylan could play super fast bluegrass, right? If he had that kind of guitar skills and he could sing like Robert Plant, we would not have Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan exists because of the limitations to what he could do. And I think there's countless musicians that let's see. So I'm not going to talk forever. Just for a little while. No, let's get going. I'm talking too much. Oh, good night, Pete. So I'm that contradiction. I'm passionate about practice, but I also don't think it matters. Both of those things can be true at the same time in my universe. Okay. We'll race through this step so we get to the music. Send this Poe. Oh, thanks, Thankonomics. I think my plan when we get in the van, and Thankonomics named it Cloudfishing. Thanks, Thankonomics. Cloudfishing. My plan when I start in the van is I'm going to start doing, not immediately, but within 2 or 3 months, doing live shows on YouTube that will just be talk streams. So, and I think, especially when I'm doing that, I think I'll really try to be rigid about the music shows and limit some of the part of the motivation with Project X is to create some show types that are going to make things go a little quicker. Because you forgot to mention fraction should not be fun. That's what held you back. Held me back. Again, it just really depends what someone's goals are, and if they are 1 in 10,000 have an extraordinary natural gift in their terms of physical or theoretical skills. Because for a lot of people who are just starting to play music, it's important to have fun, right? It's important that you just play songs you want to learn, and if you like a band, learn their song or something. You know, that's awesome. There's no but. That's just awesome. Classic film ties first drum loop in Mr. Neff 1212's first sound. Drum kit is the Cavern. It's not loaded though. Here it is, about to load. Okay, first beat, Zabatsky. There's Zabatsky, and then we got classic film type. Oh, it's on the screen. See, I tried to hurry, and I see this is what we get. Okay, well, there's classic film type. And then here's Zabatsky. Okay, got our beats. Let's check out these sounds. Kaleidoscope crystal. Morphin bass string. Mr. Neff 1212 Cop Show Clav. Blue Doomsday Machine. Wuchama's Fat Jupy BPF. Alien Angel Choir from Chucky. Okay, I'll pick which sound starts the improv. So, if you didn't notice that countdown on screen, and you now notice it because I'm pointing at it right there. It's going to be the biggest show in the history of this channel. December 11th, we're celebrating 5 years on Twitch. I'm going to be launching Project X, Phase 1 Project X. At least two new show types now. In the long run, Project X is going to involve 5 new show types, but the other 2 or 3 won't be for a while. What else? I'm going to be debuting the first episode of my new YouTube travel vlog variety show. Be launching the Kickstarter for the van, and I'm going to be making, there's going to be 14 plus additional announcements. So lots happening. Did I say 4? It was at 4. I think it was 14 plus. Like, I forget the number. Have I only done one song, or I've done? Is this only the 3rd song? I did 2 songs, right? This is the 3rd. I was just thinking, if I were to pull like an Andy Kaufman, and it's like we hit the time in the show where Project X debut happens. The lights go black. The lights come back on. I've got a fake mustache and a tuba. And I'm in an empty room. And it's just, this is the show now. I don't talk. I just play tuba. And I'm dressed like Mario. And I go with it. I just stick with it for 5 years. And there's one viewer. Soda says, "Kid, are you okay?" It's my mind. I'm just brainstorming, Soda. He says, "Do it." Andy Kaufman be a real streamer with most haters, but views and subs as well. Yeah. Did I was mentioned? I saw this. Yeah. Welcome, Ramon Kenke. Thanks. I saw this Andy Kaufman. I'd never seen much of his stuff. He did a fake variety show, and he did. I thought it was so funny. He brought out his guest, and Andy's sitting at a desk that's like 10 feet tall, and his guest is just on a couch, so they can't really even see each other very well. They have to sort of look down, and the guest is sort of looking up at him. I don't know why I thought it was just, I loved it. Brian, you played tuba for 8 years in school. I own a tuba mouthpiece. I do not have a tuba, but I have a tuba mouthpiece. I played baritone and trombone on the show, so I have played a little tuba. Someday someday when I have money, if I ever have money and I have space, I would get a tuba. I would get a sousaphone. That's what I would get. I'd get a sousaphone. I think it'd be so funny to have a sousaphone. We need to have a bigger room, because if I had a sousaphone, you wouldn't be able to see it. The bell of the sousaphone would be up here. Let's end this bowl. Classic film type drum loop. Okay. Let's do it. Anyone just joining? This is Improv. I have no idea what I'm about to do. Using sounds the chat requested. He says, will you be doing marching band? YouTube. Ramon says, you get a mid-high quality tuba for about 8,000, but they range up to 30K. Right. That's why I said if I have when I have money. Cool reasons, all the more reason for you to get a bus and not a van. Tall enough for you to play all instruments except maybe pipe organ, yeah. I don't think the bus will happen, but you know, I've now upgraded from a minivan to a van, so who knows? You know where I'm going to end up? I'm going to have a semi-truck with one of those mobile, you know how they move houses across the country? I was like, let's just keep it permanent. Let's just, you know, and I'll have two vehicles in front and behind, you know how they do that? I'll have an entire house on a flatbed truck. That's where it's going to end up. That would be so expensive. Okay, here we go. Time to accelerate. Thanks for those calps. Let's see, titles. Mr. Neff 1212 Vice City Nights. Oh, thanks, Beauty. Thanks for gifting the sub to Classic Film Type. And thanks again for all those gifted subs earlier, Beauty. Thank you. Thankonomics, thinking in reverse. Doug the Potato Fences. That's one of my favorites of your Say My Names, your way to say my names, Doug, is Doug the Potato. Potato is just a funny word. Inherently funny, I think, potato. Tomato is not as funny as potato. Why is that? Does anyone disagree? Does anyone think tomato is a funnier word than potato? I think potato is funny and tomato is not. I mean, there are funny things you can do with the tomato, for sure. It's a lot funnier to be hit in the face by a tomato than to be hit in the face by a potato, right? I would not want to be hit in the face by a potato. We need one more title, don't we? Chucky, the Syndicate versus the Magistrate. So does, I don't know if potato seeds funnier than someone in the face. One is going to cause injury, one probably won't. Oh, then here's how it gets complicated. What if you paint a potato to look like a tomato? And Blue says depends who's getting smoked. Oh, I did my toes, yeah. Oh, thanks, Moody. I missed that. Thank you. Moody says painting potatoes. Is that a pun about painting toes? I need to do some painting, actually. I went to the art store last week. I also bought spray paint. I just got two colors. Black and gray. And then my spray paint is pink. Oh, I also got white. Man, I have so much work to do still. So much prep. Let's get those titles up on the board. What wasn't I saying a few weeks ago? We were talking about fast food, and I said I'd never been to an Arby's. I think I said that. I think it was Arby's. I made an attempt on my drive back. I was really I needed to eat some protein to stay safe, eat something or carbs or something. So I checked on Google Maps. They just say what restaurants are on my route, and one of them was an Arby's. And I went off my route to go to this Arby's, and then guess what? It was not open. I think I'm just not meant to ever eat at an Arby's. Oh, hey, Chills. You're shocked? What are you shocked about? Hey, Q Square. I don't even know what they serve at Arby's. It's just another burger joint, right? Dime a dozen burger joint. Oh yeah, I used titles as for my lyrics. Cool Reason, Tell the Magistrate, and Staffy, My Way is the Highway. Well, we are going to get our 4 songs at least, right? Oh, Arby's is deli meat? No idea. Sandwiches. I had no idea. I thought I'd get a burger there. I mean, I don't know if that's what I was going to get, but that's what I thought they made. I just assume if it's fast food, they do burgers. Just seems like that's what fast food is burgers. I only went out to eat once. That was the only time. Yeah, it was well, I didn't go to Arby's. I ended up going to I don't even remember. It was a Burger King or McDonald's. They're basically the same thing to me. But yeah, I had my oatmeal, and and besides that, I ate a lot of granola bars I brought, and a lot of carrots and apples, and I brought a whole bunch of spinach I ate the first day because I couldn't refrigerate it, and a lot of nuts, peanuts, and almonds. He chills says my ex-boyfriend was a manager there, so I spent most of my time eating Jamocha shakes. Kisker, you were working through on your oh, you're right, the REM pie. You were telling us about that. That sounds awesome. Okay, let's see. Let me shout out a few more titles. Sleepy Muty, Valhalla Picnic, Wow Wow Soda, Development of Terrorism, Cool of a Reason, Totally Tuba, Amma's No Way Compromise Holloway, Thankonomics Interstellar Distress, Doug the Potato, Tuba Driving, Chucky, Spicy Cucumbers. This whole show, I keep thinking about the Hamlet monologue that the famous one that I read at the start of the show. And I just keep getting new ideas for things I can do with it. At first I was thinking, man, I want to learn how to do impressions just so I can have a series where I do, do Hamlet in different voices. It's always Hamlet, Which voices would be the funniest here and do Hamlet? Then I was thinking, I don't have the time to learn how to do voices. So then I was thinking, I am planning on doing a series on my YouTube show called The Secret Life of Bugs. And The Secret Life of Bugs, I'm gonna have a lens so I can get very close shots of bugs that I find in my travels, and I'm gonna record voiceover, basically what the bug is saying. And then I was thinking, that's what I should do. I should just have the bugs doing Hamlet. I mean, that would only be funny once, and maybe it wouldn't be funny at all, but I could do it once. But The Secret Life of Bugs has so much potential. So much potential. The secret life of bugs. All the times when I'm walking outside, I find I'll see in the path bugs doing interesting things, you know. And bugs are very interesting if you can get close to them with a camera. Soda, you're not jiving with my brainstorming. Soda hates my ideas. Oh, you don't like the secret life of bugs? That's my best idea ever. And I will do voices for the secret life of bugs. Just not impressions. It's a lot easier to make up a voice than to actually do an impression, as I've learned. So I'll have each voice will have a different voice. Each bug will have a different voice. Cooper thinks I'm having a meltdown. I think I'm just really tired from my 2 days of work and lots of sun. So sometimes when I get tired, my brain starts stumbling around and collecting weird combinations of ideas, like bugs reading Hamlet. I mean, just think about it, Soda. You know, it's a you know, in the frame of the shot, it's a ladybug, and the ladybug it's a macro lens, so the ladybug is as big as a person would be in the shot, and the ladybug is just wandering around doing its thing. but then you know, the ladybug is though saying to be or not to be. That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer. Okay, let's see. We got stuff? Yeah, we do. Shows you up the bug's life. I mean, this is a Midsummer Night's Dream. Thankonomics, you can get behind the Shakespeare rendition. Thank you. Thank you. Doug says that the ladybug wants to be a bee. That's why the variety show is the best idea for me, is that I can have one of these really stupid ideas, right? And just do it once, and it's a disaster. But I'm not committed to ever doing it again. So do we just let it disappear into the archives of YouTube, you know? Okay, let's end this poll. Stabby says, as they say, insect cell. The Syndicate versus the Magistrate. Chucky, thank you, Chucky. The Syndicate versus the Magistrate. As was me weird about this first episode is there's a bunch of silly stuff, not quite as silly as bugs reciting Shakespeare, but it's some silly stuff. And then the story is very not silly. It's emotional. Okay, let's see. Medius, what if you use B footage and learned little kids difficult words like discombobulate? They could be spelling bees. Oh, hydrate, yes. Thank you, Chills. But that's I think one of the YouTube chat shows will be just brainstorming, just back and forth chat. You know, anything, any idea is a valid idea. That's one of my absolute favorite activities is idea generation, which is why I love improv, because it's just non-stop idea generation. Okay. Did Tubi disappear? Tubi's not answering you, Doug. What's up with that, Tubi? It's rude. Yeah, by the time Tubi answered, I'd stopped the song, and so Tubi checks to see what song it is, but there's no song. I think that's what happened. First request, Mr. Neff's first ever drum kit, and Mr. Neff's 1212's fifth request, and Staffy's 100th drum loop. Yeah, I am really sore from filming. The first day I filmed at the lake, and I couldn't drive right up to the lake, so it was about, I don't know, maybe a half of a football field that I had to walk to. It was about, I don't know how many yards is that, but about half a football field, maybe a little longer. But I had to do it in one trip because I didn't feel comfortable leaving any of the stuff. So it was so dangerous. I was carrying, let's see, what was I carrying? I had 3 backpacks, 2 tripod bags, and then I was carrying a cardboard box with all these props in it. And I somehow managed to make it without falling. Did I? No, I just had 1 tripod bag. It wasn't that bad. I need a folding wagon. I should, yeah, I need something. That's a great idea. Because I'm sure I'm gonna often need to bring a bunch of stuff and have that same issue that I have to bring it in one trip for security reasons. He's just glad you didn't get tackled. Okay, let's see. Drum kit. Oh, the Desert Giant. I forgot about that. What am I doing? Oh yeah, this has to go up there. The reason you see that is this is the point of the show where back several years ago I would ask random questions. Remember when I did that? As if we needed more talking on this show. First up, kid play outside. Look at all those kicks. So I guess this is a nice sun hat that can fold. It was so nice being outside though. It's so much harder for me to have a bad day when I'm outside. Does anyone else feel that way? I need to remember that. You know, whenever I'm having a bad day, is just go outside for a walk, and I'll probably feel at least a little better. is not going to solve the problem necessarily, but I should feel a little better. But I know if I had been doing that whole shoot indoors, I would have been really stressed out and unhappy at least part of the time. And I really wasn't stressed at all. I mean, I was intense, and I was very, knew I had to accomplish a ton of stuff in a short amount of time, but I didn't ever really feel stressed, which was pretty nice. Okay, and then we got, or was that Kid Play Donuts? Yeah, it's Kid Play Outside, okay. Kid Played Outside. It's almost donuts, it's just missing the N. Could be 3D outs. Kid Play, 3D, outs. Lead deal. Lose if the weather's good, right? That's true. Yeah, if it's cold and snowy. No. If it's raining though, rain makes me happy. It's maybe because I see it so rarely. Let's do something so it's not duplicates. Let's put let's just change the volume of the snare. Still pretty similar. Got our beats. Muse says, I love the rain. I avoid the sun as often as I can. I haven't seen the big green cube in ages. Okay. Sounds. First up, empty notches. Magical finger pits. Hey, potassium. Celtic harp from Mr. Neff. That's not Celtic harp. Tubi. When I get the new computer, I'm gonna solve this once. Well, it's probably gonna work. I mean, the first couple years of this show, it worked. I think this could. Who knows what it is? Well, we'll come back to Celtic harp. So we have power chords. And then we have, he's taking his time. Xenon's horrible juxtaposition. This is from Cool Reason. Blue says, I was seeing benchmarks for the new M1 MacBook seriously fast, yeah. Yeah, that's the hope. My hope is that, because the show currently uses 4 computers. Can't do that in a van. So the new MacBooks are very fast and use very little power. So it's an amazing amazing for a vehicle where you have very limited power in the first place. And then we have... Are you still sitting there? What are you doing to me? Phil's harmonica. Kubernetes 4 computers would keep you warm with very little need for extra heat, yeah. I'd be able to keep them powered for about, I don't know, 2 hours, and then I would have no computers and no heat. Where's Phil harmonica? Oh, it's... Where is it? Is this it? Did I play those wrong? Yeah. That's Phil's harmonica. This is Xenon. And here is Celtic harp. But that's another advantage of getting the bigger vehicle is that I could probably squeeze on another 100 to 200 watts of solar on the roof. I was planning on having about 300 to 400, but I could, I think I might be able to get 600 watts on the roof. Music, would that mean the Rhodes can come? I mean, if I get a van, theoretically, but the thing is that the Rhodes is incredibly heavy. I think we figured this out the other day. It's over 100 pounds, and I don't trust that I could build something that'd be safe. Where the Rhodes is actually accessible. But, who knows? If the Kickstarter does extraordinarily well and goes way beyond, which, I mean, it's ambitious to even reach the minimum. So that's unlikely. But if some crazy thing happened and I suddenly have a lot of extra money I didn't expect, I could maybe see hiring someone who does, to sort of build something custom, some sort of custom framing system that would be safe. But most likely I won't bring the Rhodes to start. Doug says I'm over 100 pounds. Could call me incredibly heavy. I would love to have it, for sure. For sure. Oops, did I not turn it on? Speaking of the Rhodes, check and see if we do one more Rhodes show before you depart in the van. Yeah, maybe. Did I do a Rhodes show? Have I ever done a Rhodes show? Oh, I did. Oh, I did. You know what I did? Remember when we did the interludes? That was like 2 years ago, I think. You could unlock a 3-song interlude, and I'd sing 3 covers on the Rhodes. Back when my voice was a little less sandpapery. The young covers, yeah, Chucky, yeah. Here we go. And the bow. Yeah, I'm still out of... I can't see, I'm very far away from the screen, but is it accurate that I'm more in focus when I step back? Yeah. More info, yeah. I had that issue with filming yesterday for the story. It is very hard to get focus when you have shallow depth of field. But at least it was a better situation than this, where I start out of focus, but anytime I talk, I would sort of move into it, so it can almost seem stylistic. It wasn't intentional, but I might use it anyway. Here we go. Time to accelerate. Thanks for those cows. Let's see our titles. Is Tubi way slower than normal? What am I looking for? Loses Biero's always been faster. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Definitely. Tubi's the slowest bot on Twitch. But Tubi does a ton of stuff. So there's, you know. Sorry, I'm supposed to be looking at titles. I can't, I'm zoning out. Let's see. Doug the Potato, Spray of Sunshine. Chucky, Paint and Pocket. Let's see. Staffy Mood Bring. And one more. What am I looking for? Let's see. Mr. Neff 1212. Barefoot Saunter. Okay, let's see. Some other titles. Oh, hey, Hart. And thanks, Doug the Potato, gifted a sub to Mr. Neff 1212. Thank you. Titles. The wave of Sleepiness hit me. Some other titles. Bodybuilder to be stung with is next to the pink bag. Chills with Who Let the Bugs Out. Tony Brisky these Dougs kept me up all night. Mr. Neff 1212 Blueberry Pulp. Sleeping Mutie Bobber's Burgers. Soda failed my Doug test. Cool reason. Turnips for sale. Thankonomics Doug on it. Doug the potato. What color we'll choose? Chucky. Trippin' Dougies. Staffy. Live and in person. Send this bow. Ooh. And it's Mr. Neff's named it Barefoot Saunter. Congrats! Well, it's the first title for Mr. Neff. Awesome. Check for... Our show is live. From Little Buddy, we did 4 tracks. Contrast with Me, Cloudfishing, The Syndicate Versus the Magistrate, Barefoot Saunter. Oh, and Mr. Neff and anyone else who's new, if you followed today, and then you come back to another show, you'll get a download for today's show on a Bandcamp down, just the songs. I mean, it won't get released till next week, but you'll get the download. And I'm gonna try. I'm behind because of my trip, so I'm hopefully to get the Bandcamp up tonight or tomorrow morning. Hey, Hug Queen. Oh. Thanks to our mod, Cooper Reason and Tubi. Thanks to Total Robin for the raid. We had a bunch of gifted subs. Doug gifted to Mr. Neff 12. Soda gifted got double cup. We gave to Bean Awake, Billiam 93, Classic Film Type, Frambox, Nagar, Hero Vision, M Boogers, Zarnia Blue. 23 months for Botsky, 20 months for Staffy, 10 for Thankonomics. Thanks to all our lurkers and chatters. These 19 names you see on screen, how they're named our tour, named a venue, named one of our songs, made a request to one of the songs. We featured 3 Muff Love 91, Chucky, Classic Film Type, Cool Breeze, Doug the Potato, Electric Blue, Father 5, GD Bill, Got Double Cup, Jazzy, Mr. Neff 1212, Muchamas, Rams the 666, Sleepy Mutie, Staffy, Thankonomics, Total Robin, Tony Brisky Botsky, Wow, Soda. Let's see. Let's raid. Oh, it's a band. Let's raid this band. Well, remember there was a funk band that played video game music on Twitch? Does anyone remember what they were called? I don't know that they still stream, do they? We're gonna raid someone new. It's East of Viado, I guess. Let's find out what they're all about. Fantastic Plastics? No. Consoles, yeah, Staffy, or is that what I'm thinking of? I think that's what I'm thinking of, yeah, Consoles. Do they still stream? I think it's Consoles. Okay, thanks everybody. We got 2 more shows this week, Thursday and Saturday. Hope to see. They do, Stabby, they stream. Hope to see y'all. Let's do this raid. I'm not sure if these are new streamers. They're pretty new. They're indie alt rock band from Houston. So let's find out what they do. Give them some support. Thanks everybody. Have a wonderful what comes next. I'll see you soon. Okay, take care.